This is what not to say to someone going through perimenopause. Ready? Number 1, have you tried eating more protein? Right now is my part-time job to eat protein. I can't have a hobby because all I do is eat protein. Number 2, have you tried herbal tea to sleep? I need just short of a horse tranquilizer to get about 6 hours. Number 3, I took some vitamins and my symptoms were gone. Good for you. Number 4, never ever ask, do you remember blank? No, I don't remember anything. I think if you did a scan of my brain right now, it would just be mashed potatoes in there. Number 5, never ever say, you seem angry. I'm not angry. I'm just really disappointed in everything all the time.
That resonated with so many of us. That's Anna from the Holderness family. She used her amazing platform to bring some light of things not to say to somebody going through perimenopause.
That's right. Yeah, and because we all know saying calm down to someone who's in the thick of anything, it's not helpful at all.
So we wanted to bring in our friend, Dr. Katie Stewart, to talk about how we can emotionally cope or be supportive of others who are going through this when our bodies are telling us otherwise.
Our bodies are telling us so much.
They're telling us so much. But you know, one of the biggest things too is the last thing that she said is, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. But there's so much going on. We know that there's a huge hormonal shift happening. And so we know this affects our mental health in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, this is wild. I know that there are some physicians who have taken some heat for calling this adolescence in reverse, but it really is. It is so similar. So anxiety, irritability, depression, it's all coming up while we are probably raising kids, taking care of parents, managing a household. It is a lot.
Yeah,
it is. And you just mentioned a woman who is responsible for a lot in her family.
Yes.
I mean, do mental health issues affect different types of women? Are there people who are more at risk?
Yes,
to
absolutely.
Deal with this?
So a controversial diagnosis is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So women who have really, really, really bad depression before and during their periods, they're more likely to have a tougher time with perimenopause. If you've had postpartum depression, you're more likely to have a tougher time. If you have anxiety, so basically if you've had any mental health disorders previously, it's probably going to pop up again.
This is something to definitely keep in mind, and definitely seek out treatment. You don't have to do this alone. We need to be talking to people. And on that note, I really wanted to ask about how our partners can help, because I know helping a preteen right now, there's a lot more gentle parenting happening so that I can be compassionate. If this really is adolescence in reverse, we need our partners to be that same supportive person for us.
Absolutely. You know, you said gentle parenting, and the first thing I thought was, what would gentle partnering
what would that look like?
But I think, you know, if our partners are paying attention, which they should be, they're seeing these shifts, right? I mean, I know that I am not the sweetest individual a lot of the time anymore. So I think maybe encouraging some, I don't like to think of it as time off, but time to oneself, right? Hey, let me get this. And do not, I repeat, do not wait for your partner to ask you for support. Jump in when you see that things are looking difficult.
And that person.
Yeah, and I will say you are one of the sweetest people I
really
know.
Here I am.
Home's a different story. Totally agree.
But what about those intrusive thoughts that you have in your head? I mean, just things that are ruminating when you're up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're dealing with hot flashes, all of the what ifs. What if this was this way? What if I could do this? And it really gets to you after a while.
It really does. And I think that different techniques work for different people. But, you know, especially 1, 2, 3 in the morning, reminding yourself there is nothing I can do about this right now. Also, I personally believe, and I've seen this in my practice, just knowing where this is coming from. This is because of my hormones going crazy again, kind of makes it a little bit easier that I don't really have to do anything with these thoughts.
You know, I want to ask you about something else too, and I wasn't planning on bringing this up here, but I am planning on having a hysterectomy in the early part of next year. And I've had this conversation with myself about, even though I'm not having any more kids, losing that. Because it feels like such a function of our bodies for so long. But that is also something that you kind of have to cope and grieve with, right?
Well, I think some women do, some women don't. I think we would actually be doing women a disservice to assume that everybody has to mourn that ability. That said, I think we get so many messages that our worth, our value as a woman is inherently tied to our ability to birth a child. And so that's really problematic. That said, I think that, you know, we have to just ask women, how are you feeling about this? Because even with things like infertility, I think a lot of people assume that would be harder. And I've worked with women who say, you know what? It was a relief because now I don't have to struggle anymore. But I think part of this is that feminine energy is inherently creative, but we don't have to be creating other humans.
Right.
So what about creating maybe not a whole new identity for yourself,
but finding that.
but finding something where you can use that.
Good stuff.
I love
Thank
that.
you so much
Thank
for this
you.
really insightful conversation.
Well, if you're interested in booking a session with Dr. Katie, we will have more information on our website, kdka.com/talkpittsburgh.